Chapter 9, A Reasonable Proposal. "The Undersecretary of Education is now ready to see you, Dr. Cross," said the aide. "I will show you in." A man in a dark blue suit greeted the visitor. "Please come in. I'm Dewey Pullman, and this is Dr. Jesse Paul and Dr. Carl Davidson. Gentlemen, this is Dr. William Cross, president of the Reason Belief Ministry." They each shook hands. "Dr. Cross, we've been discussing your proposal." "Thank you, Mr. Undersecretary, but please call me Will." "If you prefer." "As you know, this meeting was agreed to primarily because of your chance meeting with the President in the political rally held at Lincoln Road Baptist Church. The President generally respects people of faith, but she is concerned about the political fundamentalists in your following." "Well, most of my sphere of influence call me fundamental when it comes to the Bible, but I actually prefer to think of it as faithful to the language of the Bible. Many Christians in America today have some education about the nature of language, history, and science. And as you may know, my ministry is dedicated to encouraging a reasonable faith, consistent with all the latest and best knowledge available, and especially from science. This began with my undergraduate training in physics and culminated with a PhD in astrophysics at the University of Colorado." "I see. Well, you also seem to have a good sense of timing. The President has come to appreciate the importance of science as it relates to the matter of faith. She has rightly pointed out that no party owns the faith issue. In fact, many of her most dedicated supporters are people of faith. So let's discuss your proposal." "Gladly. Now, you should know that I believe that there will always be differences between Christianity and the various religious philosophies of the world. However, there is one thing on which we should all agree. Certain realms of science have matured to the point that they are beyond dispute. One of those areas involves astronomy. In particular, the age of the universe has been established through many lines of evidence, so it's rightly called a scientific fact. It is inexcusable that some Christians still hold to the old notion of a literal six-day creation in spite of the scientific evidence and modern insight into the language of the Bible. I believe this has slowed progress in space exploration, technology, and really brings shame to the name of evangelical Christianity. Again, I don't think we will agree on all points, but surely we can agree in this one thing in order to advance science." With that, the Undersecretary leaned forward, raised his eyebrow, and lowered his voice. "And so you're willing to add your endorsement for public school and college astronomy textbooks just as long as we distinguish between biological and physical evolution." Before Dr. Cross could discern if they had taken him seriously, Dr. Paul spoke up. "For my part, I have no problem with intelligent design in astronomy or biology, and clearly a huge majority of the world accepts an ancient universe, which is self-guided by some universal intelligence. At the base of these religions and philosophies is a belief in an eternal universe. It seems that science is finally bringing the world together." Dr. Davidson started slowly. "Clearly, there is a qualitative difference between biological and astrophysical evolution. However, in a recent Parade magazine poll, 85% of my readers agreed that space exploration is vital to the future of the human species. I'm also very concerned about declining support for the SETI project. The search for extraterrestrial intelligence has almost certainly been thwarted by creationist concerns about UFOs. Nonetheless, my chief motivation for unity relates to the state of the environment. With the peril of global warming and the environmental disasters it entails, we must seek unity at every turn. The truth is, we need to come together at a much higher level, but this is a start. I'm willing to offer my endorsement for this plan." The Undersecretary appeared surprised and unsatisfied. "Now, how does all this relate to the recent discovery that is alleged to support intelligent design?" Again, Dr. Paul was first. "Everything and nothing, depending on how you interpret things. As I already said, many religious people have no problem with the idea of evolution guided by intelligent design, and yet they would reject the notion of an old man with a long white beard reaching out to create man and the universe in 6 days. Dr. Davidson followed. "Einstein said, 'God does not play dice with the universe.' That's as far as I'm willing to go." Dr. Cross chimed in. "I'm willing to acknowledge this aspect of the God of Einstein, just so long as we make it clear that the processes of evolution for the universe are not the same as those for the evolution of life. I maintain that God created life. He then paused briefly. So it appears that we are agreed that the scientific evidence only supports a universe that is billions of years old. We can respectfully agree to disagree about creation versus evolution. In so doing, I believe that we've been respectful to the well-informed Christians that I represent, but also the balance of American sentiment that these distinguished scientists represent. The Undersecretary looked across the table and back, stopping to study each face for dissent. Then he turned away as though he needed to adjust his thinking. Turning back again, he said, "Okay, I guess I can put this before the President in her next cabinet meeting. Again, your timing is perfect. Her proposed education reform bill could use the support of her conservative constituents. In the meantime, prepare your endorsements and email them back to me." Dr. Cross added with apparent satisfaction, "What are arguably the most significant conservative political leaders in America have also thrown in their full support for this proposal and even offered their publishing company for the project." "Well, we'll definitely give that some consideration," said the Undersecretary. Dr. Cross thanked them for their time in discussing his proposal and then said, "Once people see the benefits of unity in this matter of established science, religious people everywhere will enjoy new freedom to exercise their faith." Just as the meeting came to a close, the Undersecretary turned away to view a new email on his BlackBerry. The subject line read, "Education Reform and Private School Curriculum."